My name is Pat McManus. I'm an international certified alcohol and drug counselor, musician, songwriter, producer, and founder of the Rock and Prevention program. And basically, why I founded Rock and Prevention is I want to help kids. I started playing guitar when I was about 22, 23 years old. I was having some mental health problems at the time, and I was really isolating myself from really all my old friends. And in that time of being isolated, I'd play and I'd play and I'd play and I'd play. And it gave me something to do with my time to keep my mind busy while I was having so much high anxiety, where I was pretty much scared of my own shadow and deep depression, and gave me something very constructive to do and something that I was really into. I kept playing and playing and playing. Some dear friends of mine let me move in with them, and I played incessantly. And they asked me, you know, Mac, can you tap a little lighter on the floor? Because I'd be playing into the middle of the night and tapping my foot, and like downstairs, I guess it was pretty thunderous. But I had a lot of energy then, and it was a great way for me to do something constructive with my time and learn how to play guitar and learn how to sing. And I said, you know, if you just let me learn how to play this darn thing, you know, and learn how to sing, I'll only use the songs that I do for good, to help lift people up, to, you know, to help people and help them, especially other kids, help them avoid using alcohol and drugs so that they didn't have to suffer from the same types of pain and disappointment that I had in my life. So that was kind of my purposefulness of getting started playing guitar and where I was headed. Well, I started writing songs when I was 23. Basically, the reason why I started writing songs is I couldn't play anybody else's music, you know. I didn't know the first thing about music, but what I did know was I'd learned some chords, and I was learning how different chords fit together, and I would play and play and play till I found something that fell together and that felt good and created a nice vibe for whatever song I was going to write about. And one of my first songs I ever wrote was a song called I'm Alright. And I remember I had a moment after about a year of, you know, working a program of recovery and getting some help. I began to feel better, and I just had this moment where I thought, you know, I'm gonna be all right, you know. And this was really weird for me, but there were periods of time during that, you know, crisis period when I thought, I don't know if I'll ever be normal again. You know, it was a scary period. And so playing guitar, writing songs gave me a great outlet. And the song says, you know, I'm just another guilty man, and that's just what you see. Doing the best I can to set my spirit free. I don't know much about nothing at all, but by love I'll do my best. I'll use my knowledge, use my courage, let love do the rest. I'm alright, I'm alright. I have always thought that the best songs almost kind of write themselves. They just rush through me, and you know, they still take a lot of time to do, but they kind of write themselves. And then you know, it's kind of like the vibe you would get on your first date. You know, writing a song is like, oh, it's fresh, it's new, it's just big rushing through it, and you're that kind of super excited. And when you write a lot of songs, it's like having a lot of first dates. so it's a really nice vibe, really being consistent in your songwriting and being tapping into that good spirit. Well, it's hard to say like an exact number, because it's been a lot. I've been writing songs for 40 years. And, you know, I guess that makes me old. You know, it's kind of hard to think about. You know, I've been writing songs for 40 years. My God, you know, it's a long time. but I know that there's been 240 different songs actually recorded. And some of those, of course, have been remixes where we added new lyrics to teach new topics. We changed things around, tweaked them. We had some songs that we did remixes on that had, like, were done in a new style in an effort to reach more kids where they're at. And so, yeah, 240 or so. That's a conservative estimate. But yeah, written a lot of songs. Yeah, I've worked with artists from literally all over the world. There's one song, I Am Rock World Empathy, which I know we'll talk about later days, but you know, in that song we had people from all over the world translating and singing the song in their own native tongue to teach empathy for people around the world. People from, you know, all over the United States that did the same. And in today's day and age, you can do so much over the internet. You know, you can work with people from all over the place. In creating songs, I have two great guys that I do the most work with nowadays, currently today. One is John Locker from Sonic Factory Recording Studios. John is my engineer, and he helps co-produce all the songs. He is a fantastic talent. I can't say enough good things about him, and he's a great guy. He's very easy to work with and just a super person. And then Todd Stevens, who I've been writing music with for probably the last 8 years or so. He's another guy with a huge heart and really understands what I'm doing with rock and prevention. Actually worked doing Rock Live as a presenter for like 3 years and was phenomenal at that. A great public speaker, really great person. And then Todd is so talented, he will play the drums. He will then play the bass part. He'll play the acoustic guitars. He'll play the electric guitars, and he sings background vocals on them as well. So you can see the level of talent that he has is that he can take and then produce fully out with the song parts, and then it comes back here where I usually start writing the lyric and you know, going through my process, and then we just send files back and forth. But he's great talent. John Locker and Todd Stevens are just irreplaceable in my life. They're just great guys and super talented, just super talented. Where do I draw inspiration? Well, I'd say from family, from friends, from just people that I know, from my own experience. I draw inspiration. Also, sometimes I'll just, you know, late at night, if I can't sleep, I might get on Facebook or someplace where there's all kind of artists playing different songs, and I'll, you know, listen to stuff that I normally wouldn't listen to, just to try to appreciate the vibe and appreciate the style of music that the person is doing, just to broaden my own thought process about song production and how to put things together and that kind of thing. You know, I ponder different subject matters that are going to help kids and help adults too, for that matter. And when I ponder those things, you know, a lot of great tools, I guess, kind of flood through me, and I put those together into songs that teach and songs that are useful, and we make sure that they sound good. Well, started off, I was working at Black & Decker repairing power tools when a man came to me, he's a good friend, and he said, "How would you like to go through a counselor training program? I think you'd be a great counselor." And so he invited me to a place called Our Primary Purpose that was at Iowa Lutheran Hospital. And it was a treatment center for adolescent alcoholics, drug addicts. And I went through their training, and we had a hard time keeping kids on the unit on the weekends. The doors were locked from the outside in, so you couldn't just come in. But if you wanted to run or elope, you could leave the unit. And a lot of kids would leave the unit to go get one last hurrah, in. And they said, Pat, can you do something with the music to help reduce elopements, just to get kids to want to stay here on Friday nights? And so we started a little program where every kid had a role, and it was very interactive, but every kid had a role in doing this particular show. So they were all part of it, and they really enjoyed that. And they would do things that kind of fit their interest. And so we started doing Pat and the Addicts on Friday nights, and singing with the kids, doing different activities with music that taught, and just having a lot of fun. And it did reduce elopements. It was very successful. And from there, the director of the program said, Pat, we have this third group of the day that's relatively a lame group because everybody's just emotionally dead. They're just tired. Could you work that third group into something where you're using songs or using music in the therapeutic process? And so I started a program. It was right in my wheelhouse because those were the kinds of songs that I was already writing. So I was able to utilize songs that I had already written and then write new songs right directly at issues that I knew that the kids were having. And that really helped kind of gently allow kids to remove their kind of normal defense mechanisms where they could kind of let that stuff come into them via a song, and it gave them a secondary approach to talking about, their problems and talking about their feelings and getting their feelings out and identifying, what they might be able to do about that and how they could change their lives. So that was a very popular group with the kids, and a lot of times it was their favorite part of treatment was the using music in the therapeutic process. Also, a lot of kids that couldn't communicate very well in traditional therapeutic practices or group therapy or community groups, a lot of times using the songs as teaching tools gave them a creative outlet to get engaged and to deal with their feelings. So after doing that for several years of using music in group therapy and community and that kind of thing, I asked the kids, I said, hey, you guys, tell me what you think might make a great prevention program. I'm thinking about starting a prevention program to try to help kids not end up here, and suffer the same consequences that you have suffered. And so they're very helpful with their ideas. They said, number one, they said, Pat, use the music. Kids will really enjoy the way that you use music to teach. I said, cool, I can deal with that. They said, secondly, they said, have high school kids teach the younger kids. So we started a training for high school students, usually 15 to 30 each day. We trained them first thing in the morning, and they would co-facilitate the trainings, workshops, and presentations with me and my staff. And then lastly, they said, always make sure that what you're teaching is believable and factual, because kids can sniff out, things that just aren't right. And so we didn't ever use any scare tactics or anything like that, just the truth about the harmful consequences of using alcohol, tobacco, and other drugs. We helped 1.5 million kids since 1990 with a program called Rock Live. And then after doing Rock Live for several years, it was in 1997, we were honored as an exemplary program by General Barry McCaffrey, who was the director of the Office of National Drug Control Policy, and on behalf of his office and SAMHSA, which is the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration, and CSAP, which is the Center for Substance Abuse Prevention, we were honored as one of the 20 best prevention programs in the country at that time. And from that, it's like, we've always changed with the times. There's always been necessary changes just because society changes, kids change, adults change. And so we began to work on a pen and paper type curriculum called Rock Plus. The Rock Plus curriculum, then Iowa State University got a research grant from the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration, and they began a multi-year research project to find, that Rock Live and Rock Plus had scientific evidence of effectiveness, that we were effective at reducing alcohol, tobacco, marijuana, and inhalant use. From there, with Dr. Mac Shelley from Iowa State, we made application for the National Registry of Evidence-Based Programs and Practices, and we got placed on the NREP list for having scientific evidence of effectiveness. So we knew we were really on to something, and the research helped prove that. And then as times changed even more, it was like, we've got to get with the digital world. Books are kind of going out of favor. People aren't using that many books, and they're doing most of those things online. And so we developed the online program, which is called Rock Digi. Every step of the way, we've made our program more powerful and more engaging. Well, my why has evolved over the years, but there's been one constant, and that constant is I want to help kids. I want to help keep kids from using alcohol and drugs because their brain is still developing, and I want to have them not have to suffer the kinds of consequences that I suffered myself. So I really want to help kids. I'd always taught life skills for success and knew that, you don't want to teach somebody, no, don't do this. You want to teach them, this is what you should do, this is what you should do, this is what you should do. So we've always been focused on the solution, and from the very beginning of Rock and Prevention to today is what can kids do to be more successful? And kids that have social emotional learning skills, they're self-aware, they're socially aware, they know about how to make positive decisions in their life, they're responsible, all those kinds of elements. We began to study research about that, and then digging deeper into the research, finding new and better ways, more creative ways to teach about, being more ready to learn, ready to live, ready to be successful as a kid. Well, the reason why, I write the songs that I write is I want to teach kids how to have a successful life. What are the kinds of things that you can do to be successful? What are the kinds of things that you can do to, set goals, to deal with your feelings, how to manage your anger, various issues of that sort, which is going to help them become their best self and their authentic self.